Hey Health Nuts, welcome back to the HealthNut Kitchen. Today we are doing another meal prep series. This is episode 2. I'm so excited how much you guys loved the first one that I couldn't wait to film another one. And in the poll, I asked you guys which meal prep edition you would like to see next. So I think I had like a student one, a budget one, and a vegan one. And you guys asked for the budget one. So today it's all about budgeting, saving money in the kitchen. So I'm gonna show you guys a couple of budget saving tips and tricks you guys can use when you're doing your weekly meal prep, as well as some delicious recipes that you can make to eat all week long so you can be healthy, save time, save money, all the above. And before we get started, if you guys aren't already subscribed, be sure to hit that red subscribe button, join the HealthNut family. I post weekly here on HealthNut Nutrition, and I would love for you guys to stay a while and not miss any of my future videos. I wanna just go through some easy tips and tricks that you can use to help you guys save money when you're grocery shopping or when you're cooking in the kitchen. So I have a few tips here. My number one tip is to buy frozen, guys. I bought these organic frozen veggies and they were actually on sale. Look for sales, guys, but these were on sale. And buying frozen, it doesn't mean the quality of the food is any less. They actually freeze them at their like peak time when they're nice and ripe. And you can get veggies for a lot cheaper than when you buy them fresh, which is really nice, especially if you're looking to save money. My second tip is to buy in bulk. When you buy in bulk, you usually actually end up saving money. So I have like a huge bag of potatoes. This was cheaper than buying the individual ones or like the smaller bags that are already like pre-washed. And the ones that actually have some dirt on them, they last longer. And then over here, I also have just this grain and quinoa mix from Costco. Costco is a great place to buy things in bulk because it's usually gonna be cheaper. And then I have some eggs here as well, which I usually will buy from Costco as well because it's like half the price. Buying in bulk will save you a lot of money. My third tip is to look for sales and then freeze. Usually when things are on sale, they are either expiring the day of or expiring soon, whether it's berries and things like that. In this case, I found some of this awesome chicken. This is the Blue Goose menu I get at my local grocery store. It has like no antibiotics and stuff in it, and it can be a little bit pricier. So when it goes on sale, I stock up. This one happened to be 50% off. I literally bought like 6 packs of these. This is the chicken thighs, but they also had like chicken breasts and drumsticks and tons of variety that were all 50% off. So I just bought them and then put them right away in my freezer for when I was ready to use them. My fourth tip is to fill your diet with things like beans, legumes, and grains, because those are usually pretty inexpensive and they're bulky, they fill you up, they're full of protein and fiber. And I love doing the dried ones because if you're getting dried legumes or beans, usually you can get so much more than just buying the cans. It takes a little bit of extra time to like rehydrate them and boil them and then freeze them, but it's definitely great for saving money. You can also just like buy the cans. That's still an inexpensive way to do it. And like I said, I buy these grains. Some of them are from Costco, some of them are just from the grocery store. And then things like split peas are great for soups, stews, lots of good stuff. And like I said, they will help keep you full without spending too much money. Tip number 5 is to buy what's in season. Right now in Canada, things that are pretty cheap right now are like potatoes. I have here some organic carrots that were pretty cheap. And like flavoring things with like onions and garlic is always a great bet. Just buying in season is always the best way to save money. And that way too, you get a nice variety. Every season you can kind of like explore what different fruits and vegetables are in season. And there's actually like sites online where you can like just print out and see what is gonna be in season the next month. So I will maybe try and link that down below for you guys. So let's get started. We have a lot of cooking to do. First thing we're gonna start off with is breakfast, of course. So for breakfast, we are making my mini spinach and mushroom egg omelets. I love making these, especially if I know I'm gonna have a busy week. So for this recipe, you're going to need to preheat your oven to 350. And then in a medium-sized bowl, you're gonna whisk together your eggs, your milk, and your seasoning. And you can use any milk for this and any amount of eggs depending on how many muffins you're doing. For this recipe, you'll need about 7 and it'll make anywhere from like 9 to 12 muffins depending on how thick you make them. Once it's all whisked up, then you can just add in your veggies. I have some chopped up mushroom and spinach here. You can also even use frozen spinach, which would probably be even cheaper than fresh. Next, you wanna just make sure to grease a muffin tin with some coconut oil, and then you can take about 1/4 cup of the egg mixture into each muffin mold. And then bake those in the oven for 25 minutes until they're nice and cooked and a little bit golden brown on top. Once they're baked, let them cool for about 5 to 10 minutes before popping them out, and then you can just store these in a container in the fridge and have them all week long. Depending on how hungry you are for breakfast, you can just have like 2 or 3 of these, or you can also pair them with a smoothie, and I'll link one of my favorites down below. Next up for lunch, we are making a big batch of my easy veggie dal stew. I love making this when it's cold outside, and the best part is that split peas are super inexpensive, so you can basically make a huge pot of this. It's full of plant-based protein and it's delicious served over brown rice. So for this recipe, you'll need a large pot, and then you're gonna heat up some olive oil and saute your chopped onion for a couple minutes. Add in your spices and chopped garlic, and then just saute for another like 1 to 2 minutes. At this point, you can add in the split peas. I usually like to soak my split peas for about an hour just in water, just to kind of hydrate them a little bit and speed up the cooking process. Add in a can of crushed tomatoes, 2 cups of water, a bouillon cube, and then give it a good stir. Bring everything up to a boil and then pop the lid on, bring it down to low-medium heat, and simmer for 20 minutes. After the 20 minutes, you can go ahead and add in your coconut milk, your red peppers, your mushrooms, and then a little squeeze of lime for some extra freshness and liminess. Give it a stir and then keep cooking this on low with the lid on for about 25 to 30 minutes until the split peas are nice and tender. Once cooked, you can serve this with brown rice. For brown rice, it's super easy. All you really need is a rice cooker. If you don't have a rice cooker, then you could just do this in a regular pot on the stove, but I'm adding in 1 part brown rice and 2 parts of water, adding in a little bit of sea salt, giving it a stir, and then just cooking that until it's nice and fluffy. I will link down the rice cooker that I use down below. Next up, we have snack time, because you know I'm a huge snacker and I basically have to eat every 2 to 3 hours or else hangry kicks in. So for snack time this week, we have my roasted chickpeas, and I'm telling you guys, you need to make these because they are addicting. We literally, me and Chloe ate the whole amount that we made, and all we have left is this little container, which is about 1 day's portion. So I would suggest doubling or tripling the amount that I'm showing you guys today, but let's just get started and I'll show you guys how to make them. First, you want to preheat your oven to 400 Fahrenheit. If you're using canned chickpeas, make sure you just rinse them really well, and then all you have to do is lay them out on a tea towel to make sure they're super dry, kind of roll them around, and if any of the little skins kind of pop off, make sure you pick those out and try to get any of those that you can, but you don't have to be too picky about it. Once your chickpeas are nice and dry, transfer them into a mixing bowl. Add in melted coconut oil along with your spices. For spices, I'm using smoked paprika, pepper, sea salt, and some garlic powder. And just give that a good mix, and then transfer this over to a parchment lined cookie sheet. Bake in the oven for about 40 to 45 minutes, and make sure to toss it halfway through so all the sides get nice and crispy. Once these are done, just pop them out of the oven, let them cool slightly, and you can honestly just start snacking on them right away because they are so good, guys. I'm gonna have one right now. So good. You can do any flavor that you want. You can do chipotle, lemon pepper, sea salt. And then in case you're like me and you panic if you don't have enough snacks, I also here have just some like apples and peanut butter. You can use pear if you want, and almond butter, whatever you have on hand. Apples are usually pretty cheap as long as you're not getting like the Honey Crisp. Don't get those if you're trying to be budget friendly, because those are like sometimes $4 an apple. So I usually will just throw some peanut butter into a container, add some chopped up apples. You can also just squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on there so they don't go brown if you're storing them like the night before or making a few for the week, and that's just a good extra snack to have. And for dinner, we are making my famous best ever mashed potatoes. I love these potatoes and they're definitely budget friendly. And then with that, we're having my roasted lemon pepper chicken thighs and then some green beans on the side. And we're using chicken thighs because they're usually much cheaper than chicken breasts. And because they're usually a little bit more fattier, they roast really well. They get nice and crispy and golden brown. So for the mashed potatoes, you're going to need a large pot of water, and then you're going to season that with some sea salt, garlic powder, and olive oil. Add in your peeled and chopped potatoes, carrots, and red onion. Bring this to a boil and then lower it down to medium heat and cook for about 20 to 25 minutes until the potatoes are nice and tender. Once your potatoes are cooked, you just want to reserve about a cup's worth of the broth and then drain the remainder, and then in a food processor, or you can also use like an immersion blender in a bowl if you have that. I did this in about 2 batches because my food processor wasn't big enough to do the whole batch, but you're basically just going to ladle in your carrot, potato, and onion mixture into the food processor along with the broth. Blend it all up, making sure to stop and scrape down the sides in between, and then just blend it until most of it is smooth. It's okay if you have like some chunks because this is kind of like a rustic potato mash, and you are ready to go. You don't want to over blend it because potatoes do get gummy if you over process them. Now for your roasted lemon pepper chicken thighs, you just want to make sure that the oven is preheated at 400 Fahrenheit. So I actually just cook these at the same time as my chickpeas because they take actually about the same time to cook and at the same temperature. And then you want to place the thighs into a bowl and just marinate it with a little bit of olive oil, some lemon juice, and your seasoning. So pop that in the fridge from anywhere to 30 to 60 minutes just to like slightly marinate while you're doing other things. So if you're doing all this cooking in one day, you can just marinate the chicken ahead of time, and then once your chickpeas are ready, you can just like pop them both into the oven and they can just cook together and you don't have to heat up the oven twice. And like I said, they cook for the same amount of time as the chickpeas, which is about 40 minutes. And then last but not least, we have the easiest recipe of the day, the green beans. So for the green beans, you're just gonna take a medium-sized pot with a bit of water, add some sea salt in there, bring it to a boil, and then just cook your green beans for anywhere for like 5 minutes and just until they're cooked. And then just strain them, rinse them with some cool water to stop the cooking process, and you're done. And a lot of you guys ask me if you can keep everything in the fridge for the full 5 days. What I usually do, I'll keep like Monday to Wednesday in the fridge and then maybe like Thursday and Friday in the freezer. So that way everything stays nice and fresh. And then the night before, all you have to do is take the ones out of the freezer, pop them into the fridge, and they're ready. They're not like frozen by the time you bring them for lunch. All right, so that's gonna be it for today's meal prep video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got some good ideas for your own meal prepping. And if you guys missed the last meal prep video that I did, I will link it down below in a meal prep series playlist for you guys so you guys can go back and refer to those. And then if you guys have any of your own food budget saving tips, let me know down below in the comments. I would love to know kind of what fun budget hacks you guys have for grocery shopping or cooking for the week, and we can just all help each other save some money on food because you know what? Food's expensive and everyone's got to eat. So it's definitely a topic that everyone can get involved in. And if you guys want to vote for the next meal prep video, be sure to vote in the poll I have in the top right or left corner. I don't know which corner it's going to be in. And vote for the next one because that's how I chose this episode. And so you guys have a say for the next one, and that is whichever one wins, that's the one that I will choose to create another meal prep week for. So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit that little bell notification button if you don't want to miss out on another episode. And I will see you guys on Wednesday for another video. Bye guys! Damn, those chickpeas are good. I feel like this is like my cauldron.